भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधूततिमिरं ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतं स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम् अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन् पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो विश्वस्य पारे परः तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः. We'll read the verses 1 to 16 together. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम् कृतिमहोदधौ पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाङ्मनः कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधीः युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृः देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवातुच्चमन्दतः चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समं सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परं भेदभावना सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्यसा भावसुस्थितिः भावना भलाद् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृत्स्थले मनः स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधाश्च निश्चितम् वायुरोधनालीयते मनः जालपक्षिवद्रोधसाधनं चित्तवायवश्चित्क्रियायुताः शाखयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलका लयविनाशने उभयरोधने लयगतं पुनर्भवति नोऽमृतम् प्राणबन्धनालीनमानसम् एकचिन्तनानाशमेत्यदः नष्टमानसोत्कृष्टयोगिनः कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्थितिं यतः दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनम्. Okay. We have covered until here, and so far we have seen the three paths: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Karma Yoga deals with Chitta Shuddhi, purification of the mind, getting rid of the dirt of the mind. What is the dirt that the mind has? The mind has this dirt called selfishness. Selfishness. This selfish desire, selfishness, this comes away with Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga also gets rid of the dirt of the mind called anxiety. Nowadays, many people have anxiety about what is going to happen. What will the future hold? Will everything be okay? Will my family be fine? If I do this, will this happen? So Karma Yoga gets rid of anxiety. And how Karma Yoga does that is through Ishwara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. Ishwara Arpana Buddhi means the ability to dedicate our actions to something higher, greater than ourselves. Prasada Buddhi means the ability to accept whatever comes as prasad, as a gift from God. It's prasad. It's not good, it's not bad, but it's going to help me grow. And whatever it is fine. It is okay. So Karma Yoga helps us to get rid of these malas, these impurities, through these two practices, dedicating all our actions to God and accepting whatever happens as prasad. When we come to Bhakti Yoga, it gets rid of our distraction and our fascination for the world. So Bhakti Yoga gives us a form of Bhagavan, of Bhagavati, to contemplate on, to worship on, and thus it makes us get rid of our fascination for the world. So instead of thinking of the world, what's happening in the world, getting attracted with the sights and the sounds and experiences of the world, I look at the picture of Sri Rama, or I look at the picture of Durga Devi, and I get lost in that. I chant their name and I lose myself in that. I worship them and I entertain myself through that. So my mind is being brought to God instead of fascination, the world. My mind is being brought to focus instead of all the distraction in the world. This is called Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga. And 3 sadhanas were pointed out. They're called Puja, Japa, Chintanam. Puja, ritualistic worship. Japa, chanting the name. And Chintanam, contemplating on the form or that quality. Then we also saw Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is the yoga of 8 limbs. And this also cures all of the distractions and impurities of the mind. And in Ashtanga Yoga, we have the basic practices of yamas and niyamas, which we went through. Asana, proper posture. Pranayama, focusing on breath to make us calm down. Pratyahara, withdrawing from all of the objects in the world. Dharana, holding our mind to a support, a form, a name. Dhyana, contemplation. And finally, Samadhi, absorption of mind. So Ashtanga Yoga helps us to build a very calm and focused mind. All of these are beautiful practices of Hinduism. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So some people say, well, we don't know the practices of Hinduism. We don't know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do these 3. Now, from the 17th verse onwards, we're going to come into Jnana Yoga. Now, Jnana Yoga is much, much deeper than all of these, and we will see how. Okay? We are coming today to verse 17. I'll chant. You please repeat after me. Manasam tu kim margade krite Daiva manasam marga arjavat. Together. Manasam tu kim margani krite. Daiva manasam marga arjavat. So in Jnana Yoga, the question is, Manasam tu kim? What is the mind? Margane krite. And after having inquired thus, Naiva manasam, there's no mind. Marga arjavat. And this is the direct path. So on inquiry as to what is the mind, we realize that there's nothing called the mind. There is a directness in this path. What is happening with all the other paths? With all the other paths, we're taking for granted that we have a mind. I have a mind. My mind is disturbed. My mind is anxious. My mind is going through ups and downs. It is distracted. My mind is feeling low. My mind is feeling bad. It's feeling stressed and pressured. I take into account that I have a mind. Step 1. Step 2, how do I work with my mind? I need to do something to work with my mind because it is just in turmoil right now. After working with my mind, calming it down, then I learn that I am not the mind. And then I am able to realize the self. So all the other paths tell us, you are the mind, purify your mind, transcend your mind, and realize that you are that pure self free of the mind. On the path of Jnana Yoga, it just asks one question. Is there a mind? Creating all of this drama, but is there a mind? And when we inquire, we find out there's no mind. So it's like the example of the snake and the rope. The snake and the rope. We all know this Vedantic example that in a room where the light is dim, there appears to be a snake on the rope. There appears to be a snake on the rope. So what do? Take that snake and maybe train that snake to serve. Train that snake to serve. Karma Yoga. Take that snake and maybe make that snake dance to a rhythm. Bhakti Yoga. Take that snake and maybe start to control that snake so it follows your every direction. Ashtanga Yoga. What does Jnana Yoga say? Turn on the light. There's no snake. Why are you doing all of this? There is no snake. So this path is called a direct path because all it asks is, do you have a mind? When we say, I have a problem, then we find a solution. Do the problems go away? No, another problem comes and another solution. After solving that, another problem comes and another solution. More often than not, we find ourselves just making it through, just tackling one problem, then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. It is like that game, you know, all the frogs start coming out and you keep hitting, and then another will come out. So problems never get dissolved. But we forget that what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is the ego. The biggest problem is the ego. The minute we take ourselves to be the ego, all of these problems will start coming and coming and coming. So whenever someone went to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi-ji and said, I have a problem, I am going through this rough stage in my life right now. What did Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi-ji do? He asked, who is going through it? Who is going through that problem? Ask the question, who is going through it? Who is suffering? Who is going through misery? And if you keep asking and asking and asking and questioning that very ego, that ego disappears. This is the path of Jnana Yoga. The path of Jnana Yoga is not to fix the mind, but to question the reality of the mind. Does it actually exist? Does it actually exist that we're spending so much time polishing it, solving it, fixing it? Does it actually exist? This is Jnana, the yoga uniting with the higher through knowledge. Now please note that this path, we can't just go into it right away. Not everybody can just go into Jnana Yoga. We need Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga in order to really do Jnana Yoga. In order to really do that inquiry, the mind needs to be purified. The mind needs to be sattvic. And that's why all of these yogas were discussed beforehand. If we try to do it now with ourselves, it's going to be difficult. Once the mind is pure enough, then we can inquire deeply to what exactly is the mind. So although it is a direct path, it depends on the purity of the previous paths. Now, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji is going to go into an analysis of what exactly is this mind, and then we're going to see how to go to the source of the mind. Okay? So let us see verse number 18. Vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha. Together, vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha. So what it says here, what exactly is the mind? What exactly is the mind? Vrittayaha manaha. The mind is thoughts. Vrittayaha manaha. But what kind of thought? Vrittayaha tu aham vrittim ashritaha. The thoughts, they all depend on the I thought. Thoughts depend on the I thought. Vidhi aham manaha. Therefore, the I thought is the mind. Thoughts make the mind. All the thoughts depend on the I thought. Therefore, the I thought is the mind. So what does this mean? Take your mind. Your mind has two types of thoughts. One is called aham vritti or I thought, and the other is called idam vritti or object thought. So take the mind. Mind has two thoughts. I am speaking something. That is, speaking something is the object thought. Seeing something, I am seeing something. I am turning to this direction. So all of these actions and objects belong to the object thought. The object can keep changing, the action can keep changing. So for example, object is changing. I am seeing this book. I am seeing this mic. I am seeing you. I am seeing the window. I am seeing the altar. So the object can keep changing. Now, the action can also keep changing. So, I am speaking to you. I am reading this book. I am sitting on the chair. I am closing my eyes. The action can keep changing. So, the object and the action belong to the object thought. But the I remains constant, pretty constant, right? It's the same I who's seeing. It's the same I who's speaking. The same I who's reading. The same I who's thinking. It's the same I. So the I thought remains constant, but the object thought keeps changing. You're following so far? Object thought is changing, I thought constant. Now, the object thought depends on the I thought, because without I, there's no action or there's no object. Without me, there is no reading happening. There's no reading the book happening. There's no speaking happening. There's no thinking happening without me, correct? So, all the object thoughts depend on the I thought. Writing is not going to happen without me. So, therefore, the mind now is reduced to I thought. Clear? So, mind has I thought, object thought. Object thoughts keep changing, and object thoughts are dependent on the I thought, and therefore the mind is known as I thought. Because only when I wake up I am, then all objects and actions are possible. When I am not there, no object, no action is possible. When we say the mind is the I thought also means ego, individuality. I thought means you, be, Shubhani. That is called I thought. Okay? Now, our experiment will be to see if this ego is actually real. Is it actually real? What we will find is, in Vedanta, reality is defined as something that is always there in all three periods of time. So, the same way something is there in all three periods of time, that is called true. That's called real. And if something is not there, that is called illusory. Something that appears and then disappears, it's called illusory. Illusory. Now think about your ego, right? In waking state, you are there, your ego is there. Yes, ego is there, very much there. Everything is here, you are here. In dream state, your ego is there. Yes, little bit, you're dreaming something. Yeah? You're dreaming something from your own deep desires and impressions. You're dreaming something up from desires and impressions which you could not express in the waking state. You're dreaming it up there. Now in deep sleep, where is your ego? It's not there. It's not there. So your ego is only there sometimes. It's there in waking state, it's there in dream state, but it's not there in deep sleep state. It's not there. You have no sense of your ego. No sense of your ego. That's why there's a lot of peace. And when you wake up, the ego wakes up, and that's why there's all problems. So here, Vedanta says that the self, the pure self, the Atman, that consciousness which is there in all three states, that is the only reality. That ego is something that's illusory. It's just appearing. It's just appearing and it's just disappearing. That's all it's doing. Now he's going to say, let us trace the source of that ego. Let us go to see how to get to the root of that ego and what happens when that ego falls. So let us see now verse number 19. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. Together. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. So he asked the question here, aham ayam kutaha. Where is this I thought from? Chinvataha. For one who inquires thus, aham ayam kutaha bhavati. From where is this I thought? Chinvataha. For one who inquires thus, ai aham patati. That I thought falls. Nija vicharanam. And this is called self-inquiry. So what is self-inquiry? From where does this I thought arise? For one who inquires thus, the I thought falls, and this is self-inquiry. So you take that ego, take that sense of individuality, take that ego, and instead of going out, the problem with us is we keep going out into the world. You go inwards. Take that ego and find out what is the source, where is it coming from, question that ego. And when we question that ego, when our minds are quiet, that ego dissolves. It's not there anymore. It actually dissolves. You can actually see it dissolve. That ego dissolves and the self alone remains. This is called self-inquiry, to question the existence of that very ego. There's this one story Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi tells about this person called Mani Mama. Mani Mama. This Mani Mama was a gate crasher, big time gate crasher. He liked to go to different parties, weddings, events, and gate crash. Now, a wedding was going to take place, a very wealthy family wedding, a bride's family and a groom's family. The bride and the groom were going to get married. This Mani Mama decides to gate crash. And he goes to the bride's side and he starts ordering the bride's family around, saying, now I don't like the clothes, the color combination that you all chose, change your color combination. I don't like the food that you all ordered, change the food that you're ordering, change the way that the program is scheduled, change everything. And the bride's side said, who are you? And he said, I'm Mani Mama, I'm from the groom's side. So the bride said, now if you're from the groom's side and I have to get married, then I better just, bear it. I just do whatever you say. So whatever Mani Mama said, they did. The next day, Mani Mama went to the groom's side, did the same thing. I don't like all the clothes that you're wearing. I don't like this curry and this sabji. Order something else. And I think you should make this party like this and not like that. And the groom's side said, who are you? He said, I am Mani Mama from the bride's side. And the groom's side said, now I want to get married, so I better keep quiet. I better keep my mouth shut because I want to get married. The next day, Mani Mama again did the same thing to the bride's side and said, I told you not to order this dish. Why did you order it? Why did you order it? You should change it. The bride's side kept quiet and said, fine. Again, he went to the groom's side and did the same thing. He said, why did you do it this way? I told you to change the order. And they changed the order. They followed Mani Mama. But meantime, they couldn't take it anymore. The bride's side, was just getting antsy. The groom's side was getting antsy because he kept going back and forth. And finally, the bride and the groom, they said, we need to talk. Both of them looked at each other. They said, we need to talk. And the groom said, you tell me first. And she said, listen, I have to tell you something. Your relative, Mani Mama, is really, really testing our patience. And the groom said, what do you mean our relative? We thought he's your relative. And so the groom and the bride figured out that it's some gate crasher. He doesn't belong to anybody. He's just causing so much chaos. He doesn't belong anywhere. And they both said, we will go to that Mani Mama and we will go approach him right now. And both the bride and the groom went to him, and when they reached there, what happened? He ran. He ran away. Because he doesn't belong to the bride's side, he doesn't belong to the groom's side. He is just causing chaos everywhere, in every side. Everywhere he goes, he causes chaos. This is Money Mama, the gate crasher. Now, who is our gate crasher? Ego. Ego is the biggest gate crasher. The ego does not belong to pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is just awareness, existence, bliss. It's the Atman, the self. It does not belong there. Pure consciousness does not do anything, does not say anything, does not act. The ego doesn't belong there. The ego does not belong to the body. Body is inert, it's matter. It is just pretty much matter. The ego doesn't belong to the mind either. The mind is also matter. In itself, by itself, it is matter. But the ego somehow takes the consciousness from the witness self, takes the identity of the body and makes a knot and says, I am the body. The ego takes consciousness from the witness self, takes the mind and says, I am the mind, and knots it together. This is called Hridaya Granthihi, the knot. The knot of the self and the not self, the ego puts it together and says, I am this. This is where all the trouble starts. Consciousness is just illumining. That's all. Eyes are seeing. Ears are hearing. Nose is smelling. Tongue is tasting. Mind is thinking. Everything is doing what it has to do. Why do I have to own it up? Why do I have to say, I am the seer, I am the hearer, I am the thinker, I am the doer? Why do I have to own it up? When we own it up, when we own up that individuality, then we suffer. Suffering in life is due to identifying. The minute I identify with the body, I take myself to be the body, all the limitations of the body come with me. All the tests, the trials, all the pain, all the things, characteristics of the body, they come with me. And they're like a heavy burden. The minute I take myself to be the mind, the burden of the mind comes with me. All that sorrow, the anxiety, the tiredness, it comes with me. What do I have to do? Just disidentify. I am not that body. I am not that mind. I am not that intellect. And I definitely am not that ego. I am not that ego at all. So when we stare down, it's as though when we close our eyes, we stare down the ego face to face, like that money mama. You stare down the ego. That very ego dissolves. There is no ego. What is all the fuss about? The minute we take ourselves to be the ego, all the drama starts. All the drama starts. I feel pain. Who feels pain? The ego. Are you the ego? No. Done. I feel so stressed and it's so many things coming at my way. Are you the ego? No. Done. Understand? This is the solution of Vedanta. It's dissolution. It's disidentifying from the very ego which has or inherits all of the issues. An example they give, you know, when you're typing on a keyboard, yes? ASDF, right? When you're typing on a keyboard and your hands are on the right spaces, you don't need to look, but it's correct. Whatever comes out is correct. Everything is fine. But the minute you shift your hands a little bit here, and you start typing, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. When we rest as that pure Atman, everything is right. When we shift our perspective and take ourselves to be the ego, everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. Problems, issues, all of these things in life will not stop until we disidentify from the ego. They will go on and on and on and on. So, this is the most permanent solution. Some people might ask, what happens if I disidentify from the ego? The problem is still there. At the relative level, the problem is still there. Yes, the problem is still there. It's not going to go away. The disidentifying with the ego is not going to make the problem go away. Disidentifying from the ego is just going to make you understand that there actually is no problem from the absolute standpoint, and from the relative standpoint, whatever has to be done needs to be done. We don't need to get too attached, too involved, too bogged down by it. So there is an issue happening. The self has no problem with it. It is the problem of the ego. What still has to be done will be done, but it will be done without detachment, without identification, without weight, without heaviness. It will be done as a leela. When we act through the ego, it's called samsara. Samsara. When we act without the ego, it's called leela, drama. That's why if you see Sri Krishna, he has a crown. But what is his crown? It's light. It's a peacock feather. Because the world is not weighing heavy on him. He's acting, and for him, it's a play. It's a mere play. It is not a heavy, heavy load. So when we see through that ego, question it, keep questioning it, keep seeing it through, we will find that the ego falls and the self alone remains. Okay, I'm going to stop with this for a moment just to see if anybody has questions or clarifications needed, because I know this is a heavy verse. Any questions or any clarification required? Yeah.
Just when you were talking earlier, I was thinking about like the Schrodinger's cat, right? And like this, it's kind of like the observer and kind of the object. Does that kind of tie into kind of those kind of theories like quantum physics? How does those relate?
Can you explain the theory?
Well, I think it's like the cat, right? Like if the cat's there, if you're looking, and if you're not, I don't remember exactly, or like wave particle too. Like sometimes you're looking at something and it could be a wave, it could be a particle, depending on the time you're looking at it, right?
Yeah.
When you were kind of talking about like the object and the I and the objects, right? Kind of had me thinking about that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's relative, right? It's not the same all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
We gate crashed quite a lot.
We gate crash. The ego is the biggest gate crasher.
No, actually gate crashed.
Oh, you gate crashed a lot. Okay. Yeah.
I'm struggling with the content today.
Yeah.
The first part of it, that the mind is the I, we have thoughts that are not about ourselves.
That's correct. But you're always in that thought, right? Even if the thought is not about me, I'm always, that I am is there. So even if I say, this view is beautiful, I am there seeing this view, and that's how I know it's beautiful. So that I am is always there. That I thought is always there. Even if the thought is not about us, it's I am thinking that thought, right? So that I thought is a constant. Yeah.
sort of give like a real life example? Real life meaning like our,
Yeah,
in our
correct.
normal existence life of this ego interjecting and the actual way to step out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So let us say in raising a family, okay? In raising a family, sometimes a lot of times the ego interjects because one wants the children to be like them, or one wants the children to be competitive like the other children, or get good grades like the other children. So what ends up raising the family is the ego, because you want the child to be a certain way. You want the child to be at a certain standard so that your family will look good. Correct. That is the interjection of the ego. That pressure, that tension, that stress to appear a certain way is the interjection of the ego. But now, when you withdraw and you understand that you are not that ego, I am not that person, I am not Shashi, I am not that ego. When you withdraw from that, what happens is there's so much more clarity with the way you do things. It's not about holding the ego, boosting the ego, making the ego appear good. It's not about that. It's very natural and seamless to just care, to raise children, to be with them in the way that best makes them evolve. Sometimes being in a particular gifted and talented school is not the best way for them to evolve. Sometimes not being in that particular extracurricular, sometimes not being there, not doing that is the best way for them to evolve. So when we do things free from the ego, what happens is it's very relaxing. Because all our lives, what we're trying to do is protect the ego, make it feel good, make it appear good, make it appear nice. But then when we realize we're not the ego, it doesn't matter. What starts to function through us is God's will. Understand? When we act with the ego, what's functioning is our will, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, all of that. It's too dramatic. But when we are beyond the ego has dissolved, what starts functioning through you is only God's will. So it's very relaxing. There's no tension or pressure. Does that make sense? Huh? So our whole lives, we have one agenda, to protect the ego. Our whole lives, we are just doing that, protecting the ego, giving it so much reality, making it look good. Vedanta says, take this ego, analyze it, and first see, is it real or not? And when you analyze it, it just completely dissolves. And then acting in life is, as I said, free of ego. As long as that ego is there, there's going to be stress. Don't think there's stress. Ego is there, there's stress. Ego is there, there's tension, there's pressure. They all come together. It's a package deal. Any other thoughts or questions? Yeah.
How does one distinguish between that and sort of becoming apathetic and removed from the world? Like a lot of the sort of trends towards sort of trying to set yourself apart. And that
Correct.
seems to work if you're an ascetic, but sort of how do you know when you're substituting apathy for?
So see, this now we have to understand. This is not a path of apathy. It's a path of love. Okay? When one is free of the ego, it doesn't mean that they'll become apathetic to everybody. It actually means that they will really be able to love. And this example I'll give you. See, let us say somebody is passing away in the family. There's a passing in some family. Now, if we are full of ego and attached, what are we thinking of? We're thinking about our grief, what we're going through, how difficult it is for us. No, how much we miss the person. We're thinking about that because we're so attached to our ego, right? And in this moment when somebody has passed and we're attached to our ego, do you think that we'll be able to help others? Do you think we will be able to feel others' grief? No, we will be so self-consumed. When we free ourselves from that ego and know that, listen, I am not this ego. This is not me. We free ourselves from that ego. Guess what happens? A whole portal opens up wherein I am not attached to my grief. I am not wallowing in sorrow. I am not going through all of these things. So I have so much space to accommodate everyone, help everyone, love and care for everybody. And that's what I do. So this being free of ego is not apathy. This is a wrong understanding. Being free of ego is love to its fullest, because you're not attached to yourself anymore. This is Vedanta. Vedanta is not running away. Vedanta is an embrace. It's learning to love everybody around us. Any other questions?
Is ego always a bad thing?
Yeah. That's it. Even a good ego is a bad thing. You know, we have, right? Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, correct? And our whole scriptures tell us that Nitya Sattvastaha Bhava, become Sattvic. Have a Sattvic mind, have a pure mind, be calm and all of that. But let me tell you, one of the most dangerous egos is the Sattvic ego. I am so calm, nobody else is calm. I go to satsang, nobody else goes to satsang. I do my duty, nobody else does their duty. That's a dangerous ego. So all ego is bad. That's it. So that itself has to be weeded out.
So it would be constant correction, like I'm feeling this way, stop, remove myself from the issue.
Remove. Who the snake is feeling that? I'm feeling like this snake is feeling. You laugh at yourself. I'm feeling like this. Oh, snake is going like through this. Oh, snake is going through that. You're the rope, right? When you bring yourself to the rope, everything realigns, and then that mind operates, as I said, free of ego, and it operates beautifully. So just when I see that I'm getting my ego in the situation, remove and let the mind operate without that ego, and you'll see the difference. Things will become more beautiful. Right. Okay. Is this clear so far? Yeah? So this is a heavy...
How do you remove ego? I can be very egotistical, but how can I get rid of this?
So this is what Bhagavan Ramharshi said, is to inquire about the ego. Inquire about the ego. See, first, if we want to remove the ego, you have to think of the ego as a really, really strong wrestler. Think that you're in a wrestling match, okay? And you have a big, big opponent, really big opponent that you have to fight. So what do you do? You don't just try to knock down that wrestler. You make the wrestler weak. So you make the ego weak through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. You make the ego weak through these three things. Once the ego is weak, you give the ego the final knockout punch of Jnana Yoga. Then it's dead. Right? But if you think that you're going to give the knockout punch of Jnana Yoga first, that wrestler is not going to go down. Not going to go down. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Make that ego weak. Really, really weak. Then question that ego. Then the ego will go down. So that ego has to go. That's spiritual life. Right? Yeah.
Can you kind of help reframe it in terms of like decision making? Because I think what I understand is you're saying if you can knock out your ego, then you can see things more clearly.
Ah.
As opposed to if you're making an ego-centric decision, you might make it selfishly or make the wrong decision. But if you're able to control your ego or check it, then you see things for what they are.
Yeah, correct.
But you're not necessarily saying like, because somebody may do something to you to harm you.
Yeah.
And your first instinct might be to like, harm them.
Yeah.
And you're not really commenting on if that's right or wrong. You're just saying, first, try to see things clearly.
First, try to see things clearly. That's all. Somebody is trying to hurt you, remove yourself. I feel like this, I feel this pain. Remove yourself. Think about the other person. Are they okay? Did they have a bad day? What's happening with them? Remove your I'm feeling, I'm wanting, remove that. Whenever we remove that, we make the best decision. But whenever that's in there, our decision is all over the place. Okay? So sadhana for this week, for everybody, is to remove that ego. Remove. And when there's an issue, when there's a problem, who is feeling that problem? Who is going through that problem? Who is going through that suffering? It's the ego only. It's the ego. Probably next week, I'll share a video. Jim Carrey has this nice short clip. And he goes through this inquiry. He actually goes through this Vedantic inquiry. And then he asks, who is Jim Carrey? Who is this person? So it's nice to see from a different perspective. I'm sharing from Bhagavan Ramana Maharshiji's perspective. But from his perspective also, you can see that it is false. Perhaps we look at it next time. Yeah.
I just have one more question. The beginning you said this is like deeper than the other three. Does that mean that it's better than the other three, or are they kind of equally weighted?
It means that it's a permanent solution than the other three. The other three you'll have to keep doing. You have to keep doing Karma Yoga, keep doing Bhakti Yoga, keep doing Ashtanga Yoga. See, in Karma Yoga, your mind can again come up and get disturbed. So again, go into selfless service. In Bhakti Yoga, the mind can get distracted into the world. Again, bring it back to God. In Ashtanga Yoga, the mind can get noisy again. So again, calm it down. But in Jnana Yoga, you're free of the mind. Let the mind do whatever it does. You're free of it. So it's a more long-lasting, permanent solution. Right. Okay, let's close here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo